This was a week where I sold through a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't have even listed in the first place. Some of them were just bad buys to begin with. Some of them were things that, I received in wholesale pallets or thredUP boxes. But just reminders that not everything is worth listing. So if you want to learn that lesson with me, stay tuned. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller on a bunch of different reselling platforms, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about all of the things that sold for me in the span of 1 week. I share with you where I picked up the item, how long I had to hold on to the item before it sold, and how much profit I actually made on each item. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely subscribe because I'm going to be going through a marathon of making these kinds of videos because I am really behind. Case in point, this video is about the week of January 23rd through the 29th, and my goal is to just film a bajillion of these in one sitting so that I can get through them, film them for you, and just get a lot of knowledge your way in regards to what kind of stuff is selling well or not so well for me so that it helps you when you go out and source yourself as well. Let's get right into what sold, and we're going to start by talking about January 23rd, which was a Monday. So the first thing that sold for me is actually a pretty decent sale, and it's something that came to me in a lot of clothes that I purchased off of a reseller who basically told me, I've been in this reselling game for about a year now. I've done way too much sourcing and I've learned that I don't like to resell clothes. And she asked me if I'd be willing to buy her clothes off of her at a really, really cheap price. It really came out to about $2 an item, I'd say. So I said, absolutely. A lot of the stuff was stuff that maybe I would not have picked up myself. And that's probably honestly why she wasn't enjoying selling clothes as much, is because a lot of the stuff that she had picked up wasn't really the best stuff when it comes to reselling. But there were definitely some winners in there. And I would say this was a pretty decent item. It was this polo by Ralph Lauren, blue short sleeve polo shirt in a size extra large. It had like a crown on the front. It was super preppy, very kind of like 90s Y2K style. And so I was excited about listing this. It sold for $29 and it sold pretty quick on Poshmark. And it was a sale that I made using a Chrome extension called Posher VA. Posher VA is one of the many tools that I use to just streamline my Poshmark selling experience. Otherwise, I'd be stuck behind my laptop just sharing all of my listings, which gets old really fast. So it shares my listings for me. It will send out offers to likers for me. And as a result, I made a sale. So I already told you I had about $2 into this. So I made a profit of $19.48. But I consider this a pretty decent flip because I didn't have it listed for very long. It sold for a decent amount. And I thought it was a pretty cool piece. The next sale came from that same reseller. So again, I only had $2 into it. This I would say was okay. I wasn't as excited about listing it. It sold for almost the same amount, but it was this FootJoy Golf blue mock neck long sleeve shirt in a men's size large. It had moisture wicking technology, and although FootJoy is a really good golf brand, this definitely is not like one of the types of things by the brand FootJoy that you should be on the lookout for. This sold for $25. I just wasn't as excited about listing it as that Polo Ralph Lauren piece. Again, it sold because of discounted shipping thanks to Posher VA. I again had $2 into it, so I made a net profit on that piece of $16.28. Not bad. That one definitely sat around a bit longer on Poshmark than the Polo by Ralph Lauren piece, but it did eventually sell. On eBay, I had a sale that I was super not excited about, but this is something that I actually picked up. It was this pair of Chico's fabulously slimming black career pants in a Chico size 2. They use vanity sizing, so that's a US size large. It can be super confusing, and annoyingly, I had a return on a Chico's piece pretty recently because an item was a Chico size 0, which I think is like a women's size small, which is like a 4 or something like that. And the person who got it was like, I don't wear a size 0. And I was like, well, this isn't a size 0 in the typical sense of what, US sizing is. But I don't know, it's very frustrating that Chico's does this. And Chico's is not the only one. There are a number of brands that use vanity sizing. But this item sold for $21.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers. It was promoted at 3%. And I picked this up at a local consignment store when they were doing a birthday sale. So they were stuffing stuff into a bag and you paid $25 for the bag. So my cost of goods per item for that trip came out to $2.52. I bought these even though these are not exciting, even though these are are not the kind of thing that I would buy at like Goodwill if I had to pay $6 or $7 for them. I bought them for as little as I did because I knew that they would sell. I knew that they would sell for that $20 to $25 mark. And even though those are not exciting sales, those kinds of sales consistently are what will pay the bills. You know, especially where I live, it's kind of hard to find things that will consistently sell for $50, $60, $100. And so I'm okay with selling things for $20, $25, $30 if I can do that in volume, which, you know, on this day I had 1, 2, 3, 4 sales and everything sold for $20 to $30. So, you know, if I can keep doing that over and over again, I'm okay with that. And I knew that I would be able to get a decent profit out of this because I was purchasing it for so little. So when all was said and done, I did end up making a net profit of $14.86 on those. Chico's will sell, and even their basic pants will do okay. You might have to sit on them for a little bit longer than you want to, however, and like I said, it's not going to be the most exciting thing to sell. The last thing to sell sold so fast, and it was the game Minecraft for Nintendo Switch, and it also had like Super Mario mashup on the game as well. I don't know, it was like a 2-in-1. It sold for $20, which was my full asking price. I probably could have listed it higher because it literally sold within a day of me listing it. Within hours, actually, I want to say. And I'm saying I didn't have anything into it because it was something that I bought for my kids. They have Minecraft on their iPads, and so we got it for the Switch thinking that they might like it on the Switch as well. They did not. They prefer playing it on their iPads. And because it just sat around and collected dust for a while, my husband was like, I think you can just list this. And that is one of my favorite things about reselling, is especially when it comes to video games. We will buy video games, play them for a little bit, and after we beat the game, or once we realize, this isn't really as much fun as we thought it would be, it's so easy to sell, and we always almost make the entire amount back that we paid for the game originally. So that I think is always really cool. I did have to pay a little bit in Facebook Marketplace fees, so I made a net profit of $18.69 on that game. So if you have games lying around at home that you don't play anymore, definitely make sure that you list those. They will sell well basically anywhere. And I'm super excited because my mother-in-law was actually going through her house and she found a huge box filled with Super Nintendo games that my husband used to play with. I have zero experience selling vintage video games. So if you have any experience or tips to share with me when it comes to selling Super Nintendo games, please let me know. The biggest thing I'm wondering is, do I have to test all of them? It's like those cartridge games. Aren't they just guaranteed to work? I don't have a Super Nintendo. I just want to sell them, but do I have to put as is? And if so, does that mean that they're not going to sell for as much? Leave all of your tips down in the comments below. Moving on to Tuesday, which was January 24th, I sold on Poshmark, of all places, this Motorola Aris Surf and Board Modem 400 series model SB6141. I don't know what that means. I think it's the thing that gives you internet. Is that right? I don't know. It sold for $10. I made a net profit of $7.05. That was what we had used before we got our new thing. My husband said, do you want to try to sell this? I said, sure. Someone sent me an offer of $10 after this was listed for months and months and months. They said, I have no internet. Please send this to me as quickly as possible. I don't know how internet works. As far as I know, internet runs through like the pipes in my house. I don't truly understand what it is. I just know you need modems and the thingamabobs to get internet on. I don't know. The person who bought this from me, I suspect, knows as much about how internet works as I do. They left me positive feedback though, so I'm assuming that it worked and it was what they were looking for. I hope so. The next thing to sell was over on eBay. It was a pair of jeans by the brand J Brand. It was the Alana Bluebell style in a dark wash, and they were skinny jeans in a size 26. I picked these up at a local consignment store not that long ago, and I honestly was kind of like on the fence about picking them up, but I picked them up because they were only $4.62. I was on the fence because J Brand, to be honest with you, does not sell very quickly for me, and also skinny jeans just don't move as well anymore as they used to because people just aren't wearing skinny jeans as much. These still sold for $39.99, which was my full asking price. I was kind of shooketh. I was like very shocked because I feel like I have a lot of other pairs of jeans in that similar price range that are much more current styles by better brands, and they are not moving, but these did. And like I said, they weren't listed for too long. That's not me saying you should go out and buy all the J Brand skinny jeans that are out there. These just, for whatever reason, sold really well. So I made a net profit of $31.51 on those. Hooray! And then on Mercari, I sold this new collection Log and Look gray cotton handkerchief hem dress in a size medium. I was not about this dress. I did not super like it. Like if you're looking at it and you're thinking, this is really cute. I'm not saying these things to offend you. I'm just saying this was not my style. However, I listed it and it got a lot of attention on all of the platforms. I was very confused. New Collection is a brand that is sold at, I want to say, I don't remember the name of the department store. It's like kind of like more south. Ooh, I don't remember, but it's not a brand that I see a lot in my area here in the Midwest. I got this, however, in a women's thredUP mixed bulk box or whatever they're called. I had gotten it to unbox on Whatnot. So this dress was in that box and actually part of the tag was cut off, and I was really excited thinking that maybe it was this like really high-end brand because it did say made in Italy, which I was very surprised by. I'm pretty sure it's New Collection though. So I think I had it listed for like $20. I got an offer for $18 on Mercari and I very happily accepted because like I said, I don't know, I just didn't really vibe with this dress. So I made a net profit of $15.18 because I actually didn't have anything into that dress since I had already made the amount that the box cost when I did the unboxing on Whatnot. I just didn't get around to doing a part 2 on Whatnot, so I just ended up listing most of those items. And like I said, I made $15.18 on that. On Wednesday, January 25th, I had 0 sales, and that was not my only $0 sales day, friends, so kind of sad. But on Thursday, which was January 26th, on Poshmark, I had a great sale. This was an item that I picked up at Goodwill. It was this vintage Aussie ski wear black one-piece belted ski suit in a size 10. It had a wool-lined hood. It was pretty cool. I have always wanted to pick up one of those vintage ski suits that sell for like hundreds of dollars. I've not found the really cool ones yet, but I found this one at a Goodwill. I thought it was really cool. It was in really good shape. I wish that it had a lot more colors to it because I feel like the ski suits that do really well are the vintage like 80s ski suits or 90s ski suits that are just like, you know, aqua and pink and just like obnoxious colors all over the place. This was the opposite of that. It was completely black, but I thought it was like a really chic look. And so I went ahead and picked it up. It was $14.81 at Goodwill that day. I believe I went on a Friday and I got it for like 20% off. It sold for $85. I had it listed for $100. Someone sent me an offer of $85. I very happily accepted because it was within the week that I listed it, and I made a net profit on that ski suit of $53.19. So don't be shy of the ski suits that are not, you know, fluorescent colored. Even the simple black ones will do. Just make sure that it's in really good condition. I think the fact that this had a belt really helped. The hood helped. It was just, like I said, very chic. The next thing to sell was this vintage Ralph Lauren Yarmouth, I don't know if I'm saying that right. That was the style name. Long sleeve yellow button down shirt with a neck size 16. This sold for $21. It was one of the things that came in that lot from the reseller who didn't like selling clothes. This was another Posher VA sale, so I did have discounted shipping on that. I made a net profit of $13.08. I do like to sell Ralph Lauren. I don't know that these vintage like Yarmouth style shirts are worth picking up. Just in general, button up shirts are one of my least favorite things to sell because of how easily they wrinkle. I do believe my parents steamed this one for me. So, you know, it's a lot of labor that goes into it for $13.08. For me, it's not really worth it, and it's not the kind of thing that I'm picking up in the future. I also shared in this video right here that this year I'm committing to not doing any bulk buys like this. I'm not going to do wholesale. I'm not going to buy from resellers who are trying to offload their inventory. I'm not going to do any more thredUP boxes, and it's because I really want to see what happens if I just pick out all of my own inventory. However, before I get to the point where I'm picking out all of my inventory, I'm still listing the stuff from especially this particular reseller's lot of stuff that she didn't want to sell. So it's going to be a lot more of these kinds of videos where it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff that someone else picked out mixed in with stuff that I picked out from when I go thrifting. So it's a little bit painful, but we're making money. We're making our money back from our initial investment, and it's going to be okay. But for the year of 2023, we are not buying other people's inventory. Now, the next sale is something that I picked up. It was by the brand, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, Abeo. This is like a comfort wear brand. I discovered it maybe last year. This was a pair of black Terry. Terry was the style name. Leather ballet knot front flats in a women's size 9 narrow fit. So kind of unique in that, you know, it's a bigger shoe size but narrow. And then they have this technology called Comfort BIQ. I don't know. Everyone wants to give the technology behind the comfort in their shoes like a special name. So sometimes I'll put it in the listing title if I have room. But these sold for $42. Again, this was a Posher VA sale, so it sold with discounted shipping. I only had $3.99 into those from a local thrift store, so I made a net profit on those of $27.89. When I find this brand, I do tend to pick it up, especially if it's in good shape, because it does sell pretty quickly for me and for a decent amount most times. Also, you've heard me talk about Posher VA so many times in this video already. If you're interested in trying it out yourself, I do have a link down below, and it helps you save 20% your first month. So if you want to try it out, definitely use my link down below. The next sale that we'll talk about is over on Mercari. This is another thing that I bought. It's like 2 years ago at this point. I bought it from a reseller who is local to me and no longer wanted to resell. So she gave me all of her stuff. I had a little over $1 into each of these items. So it was super exciting. But again, while there were some huge wins in the lot of stuff that she gave me, stuff that sold for, you know, $100 or more, there were also some things that I was just kind of like, meh about. This being one of those. This brand I'm not a huge fan of. The brand is White House Black Market. It was this printed V-neck belted dress in a size extra small. This sold for $20. I made a net profit of $15.90. I don't know, White House Black Market always sells, and sometimes it surprises me in regards to how much it sells for because it is kind of expensive retail, but I always sit on it for a decent amount of time. Like, I'm talking a minimum of 6 months. That's why it's not my favorite brand to pick up, and I personally am not a fan of it. It's not a brand that I like. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's not a brand that I enjoy. I just don't like it. So for that reason, I don't tend to pick it up when I'm out thrifting, but to each their own. On Friday, which was January 27th, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of new Nike Zoom Rival S8 Sprint track spike shoes. They were the Volt 12 and they were in a yellow and pink colorway. These sold for $40. I got them actually at the local consignment store when they were having their birthday sale, so I only had $2.52 into these, if you can believe it. So I made a net profit of $29.48. I do think that, you know, shoes specific to a certain sport, so like track shoes, soccer cleats, those kinds of things, they will sell. They also tend to sit for me a little bit longer. These, like I said, were brand new. They were in a bag. Everything was like in little Ziploc bags and stuff, but they did still sit for, I would say, at least 3 to 4 months, but then I feel like I made a pretty decent profit on them, especially because I had so little into them. So I will pick up specialty shoes if I don't have to pay very much for them. And then on Depop, I sold this Polo Ralph Lauren Caldwell cream linen silk button-up shirt in a size medium. This actually got a lot of attention, I think because of the fact that it was a linen and silk blend. This sold for $40 on Depop. Now, I do pay for shipping for anything that sells on Depop, so I had $2 into that, and once you factor in the $2 cost of goods, because that was from the reseller who didn't want to resell clothes anymore, and once you factor in my shipping, my net profit on that top was $26.94. On Saturday, which was January 28th, 0 sales again. So sad, so sad. But on the 29th, I had a decent sales day, and I was so happy with my first sale because it is probably one of my oldest listings. I have had this thing for so long. It's by the brand Cabby, which is interesting because I've had some really great Cabby sales as of late, things selling for like $75, $80. This one sold for $12, but I get it. It was a tank top. The style name was Harlow, and it was this mixed print spaghetti strap tank top in a size extra small. I actually think it's really cute. I don't think that it's something that I would wear myself, but I thought it was cute. I picked it up a long time ago. I don't even remember how much I paid for it because back then I didn't keep track of my cost of goods. We're going to say I paid $4 for it. I hope to God I didn't, but let's just say I did. It sold for $12. I'm saying I made a profit of $5.05. I have probably had that for a minimum of 3 years. And after 3 years, I made a profit of $5.05. So that was a bad buy, and I'm very happy to see it go. The next thing to sell was a pair of Danskos. It was these laser cut ankle booties in a women's size 39. They were in the color sand, which I thought was a very fitting, color name. These I picked up at a pop-up consignment sale that happens in my town twice a year, and I got them for $10.22. That was my average cost of goods that particular day that I shopped this sale. I sold them for $45, and I made a net profit of $25.78, which I was pretty happy with. The next sale was this Aritzia Wilfred Free purple Angora and nylon blend ribbed sweater in a women's size medium. I also put the words soft and cozy in the listing title because I had some characters left. This sold for $30. I'm saying I had $2 into it because I got it from a friend of mine who was moving and just wanted to get rid of all the stuff that, him and his wife didn't wear anymore. This obviously was his wife's, and so I made a net profit of $22. I've talked about that friend a lot, and I've sold through so much of his stuff. I didn't actually get that much of his wife's stuff, but his stuff especially just sold so fast. I only have a few pieces of their stuff left, and this particular piece got a lot of interest before it finally sold. There was a little pilling. You could tell that it had been, worn, but I got 5 stars and a love note on that, so I know that the buyer was happy, and it felt good to move that onto a new home. The final sale that we'll talk about was another Facebook Marketplace sale, and this was a new with tags Capezio black cami dance leotard in a women's size small. This was something that was in that lot from the reseller who didn't want to resell clothes anymore. So I had $2 into it. I certainly would never have picked this up myself at a thrift store, probably even at the bins, because I know there's just not like that much value in it, but it sold for $16. I made a net profit of $12.90, and we're that much closer to getting rid of all of that stuff from that particular lot of clothes. So that is everything that sold in this particular week. So I'm going to share all of my numbers with you now as far as how I did on all of my platforms and the total for the week. So on Poshmark, I sold 10 items for a gross sales amount of $339. However, you have to make sure that you're factoring in things like your platform fees, which for Poshmark is 20%, and any discounted shipping that you offered, which I did offer, a good amount because of Posh VA. So when you factor in those two things, that total actually drops to $262.82. My cost of goods for those 10 items was $41.02, so my average cost of goods was $4.10, which is great, and so my net profit was $221.80 on Poshmark. On eBay, it was a really slow week. I only sold 2 items on eBay for a gross sales amount of $61.81, which is not amazing. And again, eBay comes with fees, and sometimes there's some shipping discrepancies, like if I don't charge them enough and I have to pay a little bit more to cover the shipping. So when you factor in those two things, that total drops to $53.81. I had $7.44 as my cost of goods for those 2 items. So my net profit on eBay was a measly $46.37. On Mercari, I sold 2 items for a gross sales amount of $38. Once you factor in fees, that total drops to $32.10. I only had $1.02 into those 2 items, and so I made a net profit of $31.08. I had one Depop sale for a gross sales amount of $40. Once you factor in fees and shipping, that total drops to $28.22. I had $2 into that item, so I made a net profit of $26.94. On Facebook Marketplace, I sold 2 items for a gross sales amount of $36. Once you factor in their super low fees, that total drops to $33.59. I had $2 into those items, so I made a net profit of $31.59. In total, I sold 17 items for the week with a gross sales amount of $514.89. Once you factor in fees and shipping and all that good stuff, that total drops to $410.54. My cost of goods for those 17 items was $53.48, and my net profit was $357.06. We are nowhere near my goal of $800 something a week. Nowhere near it. So, the year 2023 is not off to the greatest start, but that's okay. There's a lot going on. There's been a lot going on at work. There's a lot going on in my personal life. So I'm fine with that. So that's everything that sold for me in this week's What Sold video. If you enjoyed it, definitely check out this playlist right here with a bunch of other What Sold videos. And like I said, don't forget to subscribe because a lot more What Sold videos are coming your way. And if you enjoyed this video, I would super appreciate if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button because it helps out not only this video, but my channel in general as well. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you're having having wonderful sales. I hope that where you are, the weather is warming up too, because it's getting kind of yucky here. It's like all rainy and stuff, which is no fun. And please pray that our move goes smoothly. I think it's supposed to rain the day that everything goes on the moving truck. So yeah, please send good weather this way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.